So when do you think that our country's patriotism is at its highest, and what do you think the cause of this is?
Well, it's certainly been my experience, and have been around a little bit, to see some tragedies. Certainly the one that is in everyone's mind, I think the latest that you guys would have some recollection of, is certainly 9/11. And I thought it's interesting how it's like when we're all under attack or things are going bad, that we kind of come together, we show each other how you're proud to be an American. And I thought it was interesting how many flags were being attached to even people's vehicles as they were driving, and you were seeing that kind of thing, and it was you still see the stickers, but it's interesting how I won't say it wears off, but it doesn't remain as upfront as it may when there's a national tragedy like that. No, I think that's something that happens. Certainly I wasn't around for Pearl Harbor Day, but my parents would speak of Pearl Harbor Day like maybe you will of 9/11, and how kind of the audacity, the shock, the kind of the coming together becomes pretty prominent when there's a national crisis.
How do you feel that national tragedies affect your patriotic outlook, and how you view other people getting into it and helping our country?
I think it's something that I believe we all have, for the most part, everyone is very patriotic. We love our country, we love the United States, we love the government that supports it, that allows you to question the police, allows you to question government. Those are things I think that we take for granted as time goes on, and that when a crisis hits, it's maybe when you realize, gee, I guess we shouldn't take this for granted. And maybe that's what really is at the basis of this.
Do you feel that it bolsters your patriotism when you see other Americans acting patriotic?
I'm not sure that it bolsters it. I think it just resurfaces it. It's there. I appreciate it, but it's not like every hour of the day I think about my patriotism, because life kind of gets in the way. The fact that you have a paper due, or the fact that I gotta go grocery shopping, or I gotta go pick up my kids, or you have practice for whatever. Those are things that kind of surface, and I think when something happens, it makes you think about those kinds of things that is there, but you don't always think about it as a daily thing that because it's just there. Now, I suppose you could argue that we should be thinking about it more often, but I think just the nature of our being is that you only think about the things when it's either challenged, or someone wants to take it away from you, or you have a reason to think about it.
So how do you feel about national aid and the general idea of bringing the Coast Guard in to help with Katrina and everything, and how you saw so many charities popping up for that? Do you feel that affects patriotism too, when people get behind a cause like that?
Yeah, it's the type of thing that you don't really, again, you may not think about it until all of a sudden you realize where we live. When the tsunami, which is another thing that was is of your generation, the governments either aren't prepared or they're not able to. We didn't do a very good job of Katrina. That's one of the interesting things, I think, is that but we knew that there were mechanisms there that would eventually kind of kick into place. And I think there was a realism that when you saw people on top of roofs saying, "Help me," that those are pictures that you'd think you'd see in a third world country, and all of a sudden happening in New Orleans. But what's interesting about that is the very thing that kind of come full circle is that patriotism also, I think, involves our ability as citizens to kind of self-govern, to say, hey, this isn't right, let's fix it, and to be criticized without fear of retaliation or having the police come and take you away because you criticize the government. I mean, that's the stuff, I think, that makes democracy kind of hard sometimes. It's, you got to get involved, you got to have something to say, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. So, yeah, it makes you feel good that, oh, here comes, some jets flying over. I know I get goosebumps once in a while when I see planes taking off from Peas. You can always, it's interesting, and you guys live around here, so you know. I always wonder what's going on when the flights to Peas become more rapid, more frequent. But every time a jet takes off, and you can tell the difference between a fighter and one of I still get goosebumps. It's a weird thing, but I do.
Which do you feel shows more patriotism? People who take part in community service, or the way people react to national tragedies?